What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm Dr. Anthony Mattis, and I wanted to talk to you today about aging toaster, that amazing bars point that's basically about there on top of your cranium. And there's two ways you can go about, placing your hand. You can either do it this way or that way, just depending on where you are as the person who's giving. So I love this bar because I love everything about access because so much of the things that we get to look at have basically dealt with like all the areas of my life where I had shit around. And aging is one of them. And it's funny because I was like one of those weirdos that like I remembered. Okay, so let's talk about aging toaster. Okay, so basically, it's all your points of view you have about aging, what it is to get, to grow old and to die, and then all the points of view you have about fucking life after death and all that crap. Um, but for me, I remember when I was a kid, I'm like, oh my God, I was afraid to go to sleep because I'm like, shit, what if I don't wake up, man? Where do you go after that? So I have many questions about like life after death and growing older. And now knowing what I know, I realized how aware of other people's bodies I were that were dying. I didn't really realize that until about a year ago. And I've been doing access almost 10 years now. And so, so when I learned that like aging toaster was a thing, and they call it a toaster because it's like, like in a toaster oven, you have the where you put the slices of bread. So it kind of like runs like that, like kind of like where you put the slices of bread in there. But anyway, you're not really toasting anything. Hopefully you're toasting all your shit ass points of view you have about what it is to age. And so anyway, but I remember, I don't know that there's been a day in my life, to be honest with you, where I haven't thought about the process, right, of aging. And so you watch other people do it and age and their bodies fall apart. I mean, and in being in studying, about the body, as a chiropractor. And before that, I was a health and fitness major in my undergraduate degree, and now a facilitator, an energetic facilitator of with bodies and beings and all that stuff. So for me, I've always been super, super, super aware of people's bodies, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I didn't realize how many of the points of view I had that really didn't even belong to me because my body's always functioned very differently. And also being an athlete too, I've always observed how bodies move in space, and I love it, both the female body and the male body. I mean, just bodies in general. Just I've always loved watching them move through space, and so and especially performing like athletic things, like whether it's dance or basketball or American football or soccer or European football, everything, anything that requires special talent and movement. And to me, it's beautiful. And making love, having sex, watching bodies move that way too, having my body move that way, so it's like, hell, I still want to move my body like I did when I was 25 years old, you know what I mean? So I exercise so I can do that, but anyway, that's part of the joy of embodiment. But I love the agent toaster because I'm like, okay, cool, finally I'll be able to get over my points of view about getting older. And it's amazing. And here's the gift. There's so many gifts at Access, but here's the gift for me is like when you're actually creating your life, you're not worried about your life. You're not worried about anything. Okay. You're not worried about if you're going to die. You're not worried about your body just tends to feel better, by the way. So even if you have like pain in your body and all that stuff, or if you're concerned about the wrinkles you're starting to get and all that, or the gray hair, look at all that gray there. I shaved all of this because it was mostly gray. I finally was able to grow facial hair. Then as soon as I do for the first time, there's gray in it already. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't have a chance to do it, when it was just reddish brown, whatever the hell color my hair is. So anyway, so I shaved it because all my points of view about aging, right? So anyway, but yeah, so the aging toaster is a gift because it really creates the space for you to get over your points of view, but also to realize how many of your points of view are actually even yours. Because they're not. You're just aware of everybody else's point of view. And so often I would hear from my clients or my patients, You know, ever since I turned 40, it was all downhill from there. Ever since I turned 50, it was all downhill from there. Some people would be like, ever since I turned 30, people freak out about turning 30. I'm like, fuck, 30. I was in the prime of my life. I was in the prime of my life at 35, you know, and at 40, you know, it's like I look back, I'm like, dang, you know. And what would it take for you to actually acknowledge how beautiful you really are? Because it's like, do you really want to go back and look at pictures of yourself 10, 15 years ago and be like, wow, I was good looking. I was attractive. I looked good. But back then, you had all those insecurities and stuff, right? So, what would it take for you to acknowledge where you are right now? But it really isn't about the vanity of it. At the end of the day, are you creating the life that you desire? When you wake up in the morning, are you excited about living? And if not, what would it take? And that's the gift that the bars can be for you. Because it begins to create the space for you to actually realize you have choice, begins to create the space that sort of begins to dissolve all those like sort of like unseen walls that you keep coming up against, right? It seems to dissolve your inability to choose because you have these points of view that you can't choose certain things because of whatever reasons and justifications you have, which are nothing more than points of view. So again, the gift that bars are is so many different things. I mean, truly so many different things, but it's like it starts to eliminate all your points of view and considerations about everything. And in particular, aging. So it's like, what if you could just have so much fun every 10 seconds of the rest of your life? And when it's time for you to move on, it's just like, poof, you move on. But it's like, wow, I had a shit ton of fun along the way. I wasn't sitting there stressing out about me getting older and you know what I mean? And putting so much generative and creative energy about your points of view about aging. And so all I can tell you is if you listen to your body, if you honor your body, if you're willing to actually receive these amazing energetic processes, your body will start to feel like it's alive. You will start to experience this infusion of energy of living. And I promise you, you won't care how old you are chronologically because the movement of energy that is permeating literally every cell and molecule of your body, there really just are no words for it. So, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, give it a shot. You know, my personal point of view is it will bring your family closer together. It change the face of mental illness on this planet. Okay. And I'm sorry, a lot of the pharmaceutical companies won't make as much money selling their antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds. I don't give a shit. They don't really give a shit about me, so I'm not gonna give a shit about them. But I do care about you, who's actually looking for a different possibility, because I know it could help. So there are thousands of bars facilitators all over the world. So click on your country, click on your city, and see if you can find someone within driving distance for you to start getting your bars ran. Hopefully you guys didn't see that little spit that just came flying out of my mouth. But anyway, but I just told you that I just spit. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, love you. Grateful for you. Hope to see you in person someday soon. And just go and get your bars ran. And yeah, worst case scenario will be really relaxing. Best case scenario, your whole entire life will change, like mine. All right. Bye for now.